Dear diarrhea, diarrhea full of shit. Just play along with myself and I. No one else. You don't tell legit. Must be fate. The universe wants me to remind you. And I don't know if my future boo thing, Katie Bug, my wife, is aware of this. I was joking about the other day, about how I carried all them groceries out, and just sort of looped them all under my hand and just lifted them up and carried them out with this giant, white ball of groceries on my side. Then that chick, looked like really fast, it wasn't just a casual look. It was wow, and just whatever. You need any help out? Oh no, ma'am. I got this. And she's expecting me to make 2 trips or whatever, I guess. It's just whatever. But and them bags weren't full of, bread and potato chips. They were full of, 2 gallons of milk and 2 gallons of apple juice, 2 gallons of water, and all that stuff. But I mentioned this Sparkles, and I'm cranking out these push-ups with her on my back and whatnot. Like I said, my body responds quick, and I'm not the kind of guy who's like, I just one day I realize I'm stronger. Usually, like within a couple weeks. But anyway, and I don't know how long it took me to get to that point, but it wasn't more than like a month and a half, 2 months, where just on a whim I decided my max amount of push-ups with no rest was 60. And that's just when I decided to stop. I wasn't like, 2 more and then 1 more, and then I just was just like 2, 3, 4, just like that at that pace. And then when I hit 59, 60, I was just like, okay, I'm done. And but if there's would have been like people around or a pretty girl, I probably could have cranked out another 10. But I just decided, because that's how I would do. It's just whenever I got out the truck, just 1, 2, 3, 30. Walk around. And then before I got back in the truck, 1, 2, 3, another 30. Wide stance, narrow stance. Whatever. Bring them up, bring them down, whatever. Just beast mode. So, and I'm not lying. I'm not exaggerating. And that's about what it took. I was a little slow at first, but then, yeah, within a month, it was just crank them out, baby. 1, 2, 3, 4, just bust them out. But, and I stumbled across like Marines versus bodybuilders or some shit, and their max was like 75. And Joe Rogan did a push-up contest with some dude, and he cranked out 40, and he was like, okay. And Joe Rogan cranked out like 65, 70, like off the bat, and then the next 5, he was like, okay, 1, and you got to rest in the push-up position up, and then, but I just, like I said, I had no idea that was actually good, because I had said that not too long ago, maybe a year and a half ago, maybe, I don't know. Where I was like, I had no idea that I was in the same physical shape of a U.S. Marine. But, well, maybe these days. That's not saying much. But, well, I don't know. Whatever. Does he weigh 150 pounds or 215 pounds? You know, what's the dealio, yo? Like, what's his name? Wacky Zacky. Way back when he's all, yo, my max bench. And this is when he was like in his early 20s. He's all, I'm up to 185. I shit you not, literally, I could bench press 185 in 7th grade. It was either 7th or 8th. It was middle school. Now, for anybody who's interested, I mean this with the utmost humbleness. My max bench was 250, and it was when I was like 18 or 19 years old, which is respectable for an 18 or 19-year-old, but it's not really a whole lot. I mean, well, these days, it's respectable. It's respectable for an adult, you know, to be able to bench that much. And that was my max, okay? That was just one rep. You know, so it's like, yeah, that kind of changes the game a little bit. But respectable. But not really like if you're fit, you know? Like, again, not to sound like a fucking fuckhead here, but I mentioned, you know, the Gweed. That dude's max bench is probably upper twos, 270, between 275 and like 325. We'll just say that's a wide range, you know, 50 pounds. But I know Mr. Longhead, his bench is like 300 and something, you know, 325, 350. Fuck, I don't know. Maybe not, but that's my point. You know what I mean? And I just, you know, I didn't. I'm not a bodybuilder or anything like that. So, I mean, I could get up to that. You know, like I said, went to the doctor, testosterone a year ago. So, you know, it may have gone down a little bit, but I wouldn't think so. Plus, I'm old as fuck. You know, and like I said, my diet and exercise routine, drank like a fish. You know, yet it was still in the upper nines. You know, it's like maximum human capacity is like, you know, just over 1,000. So, and I mean this humbly. I'm not trying to sound like, oh, I'm strong, but well, would you like me to carry out your groceries, ma'am? But you know, oh sure, 100 push-ups in 1 month. Yeah, right. You know, go from zero to hero in, you know, a month, maybe a month and a half. Right, sure. Want to bet $1,000? But anyway. And I know my bitches are like, excuse me, hello. Well, I don't know, Katie Bug. Maybe you should do this ASMR video in a fucking thong. Have you ever thought about that? Maybe I just need a little motivation, which isn't the case. I mean, I didn't need to do it for me, but don't waste it. You know, you won't be a beast forever. You know, so we don't know that, but anyway, I just wanted to shout that out. Like I said, must be fate. You know, I just stumbled across that. Hey, tell all them bitches what a strong boy you are. Yeah.